Hi. Oh my God. A little nerve-wracked. It took a little bit of doing to get out of the laptop and run over here and set everything up because it was pre-set up for the most part, except of course I had to plug the headphones back in here and I forgot to set the record up over here. So I was like, hi, all of you. How are you? Run, Forrest, run. Lalo says, well, hi, everyone. Hi, Mikey, Antonio, V. Countess, Sue, Jose, Claudio. Nice to see you here. Alfonso, Marcelo, Frankie. I'm happy that a lot of you are here, that we're also in the special thing that we just did. Having that listening party was amazing. I actually really enjoyed it. Oh, sorry. My little modular thing is still going. Listen to that. It's still going. All right. We can go. You can go now. Thank you. Thank you for your service. I've been watching the Terminator series, and it's funny. If you watch the Terminator series now, it'll give you more chills. It actually feels more like a horror film than an action movie now. and the series, of course, the Sarah Connor series. If you watch that now, it feels much more like a scary, scary thing. Um, but before we get into it, I want to say thank you to everyone for being here tonight. I don't know that it's going to be a very long stream. It may be only 1 hour because I've already been working for an hour. Actually, I've been working nonstop. This has been the craziest week ever. This is what is known as an impact week. In case you've never heard that term before, I think I might have used that term before when the book was out. But for all intent and purposes, yeah, I didn't even make a screenshot today, so I'm going to have to use screen share for everything. But Impact Week is the week that you release something new. And there's a plethora of things to do that you think you want to do it ahead of time, and you want to do it ahead of time, but you can't. So this Monday, very quietly, the 12-inch came out, and it's on its way here. Whew, man. Steve says, sadly, it's not cold outside this week. Yeah, I'm expecting to see you at any minute. Yeah, so I've been watching, by the way, I've been watching this Sarah Connor series on Hulu. That's where I've been watching it. And it's the continuing story, so to speak. But man, there was one in particular that was really, really scary that I watched. But I'll get into that as we go through the entire 12-inch yet again. Because that's what we're going to do. But I'm going to talk a little bit about each piece. We may not get through the whole thing, because if you missed the first party that started at 7, it was fun. It was actually a lot of fun. It was more, in a weird way, more nerve-wracking for me than the stream, because I didn't know what to expect. But now that I've done it, it's going to be so much fun for the album when the album's done. So that's going to be even more fun for me now. Yeah, but... yeah. Oh, no. Claudio says it ended. Yeah, you can still see it on Hulu, though. And I watched it when it was new, and I've been rewatching it more recently. But I'm going to get into that because that's a funny one. The one in particular I need to tell you about, which is funny. But yeah, been a strange week because there was a lot of work to be done. So anyway, let's get started. The first track off the 12-inch. This one's been played on the stream before, but not exactly this version. This is the final, finished, and all that. This is Answer Me, the Razor edit, and I'll keep chatting with you all. We'll pretend it's like the listening party all over again, except I'm live, so if you ask any questions, I'll answer them when I get back. Oh, and by the way, the first track you heard was Life Was Fun, which was supposed to be in the Mo movie, and it didn't happen, and it's never been released, and I didn't put it on the Bandcamp release, and there's a reason for that, but it'll surface somehow eventually. But the one you got tonight was like a little bit of a live jam, so we'll leave it at that. Anyway, here we go. And here we go.
Answer me, can't you see that the world is coming down? Answer me, can't you see that the world is coming down? The world is coming down.
So if you're just joining me, we're listening to the new 12-inch all the way through, and then some, although we may not get to all of it. If not, it is on Bandcamp. It is Bandcamp Friday. And as of right now, I can't tell from this computer because I'm not logged in, but I think we're less than 50 copies away from being done. So yeah, it's a crazy thing. So a couple of questions in the chat that I love questions like this because it brings out the nerd in me, of course. But so J Wires wanted to know how I acquired my Emulator 3. Right now I'm streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, and who knows, somewhere else too. But, from one spot. It's interesting. I've got it down. How it manages to stay afloat, I don't know, but it's working tonight. So, yes, it's almost sold out. So Jay Wires was asking me how I acquired my Emulator 3, and I'm going to tell you that story because it's a really great story. So, yes, I've wanted an emulator ever since I knew Depeche Mode had used an emulator. And I wanted one so badly. But of course, if you know what the price of those things were at the time, it was insane. An Emulator 3 in 1992-93 was in the range of about 10 grand. You couldn't find one for less than that. It was insanely overpriced for what it was, but it was an insane sampler at the time. So there I am, looking through the penny saver. It's 1993. I'm looking through the penny saver, which is this thing that used to come, this little rag that used to come out in Southern California where you buy used stuff before the internet, of course. And as I'm reading, I see this ad for an Emulator 3 for, I think it was $2,000. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way that this is really $2,000, but I'm going to call this number. So I wind up calling the number, and it's Emu Systems. And sure enough, they had put it in the penny saver. And the story that I was told by Emu was as follows. It belonged to, oh man. Well, anyway, look, I'm not going to say who it belonged to. I don't think I should say it. But it belonged to someone very famous. Okay. And this person wanted to have someone that could probably afford it if they were motivated enough and that they saw it in the penny saver. So it wasn't advertised anywhere where anybody could really see it. So no, I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to. I'll give you a hint. Oingo boingo. So anyway, so it's in the penny saver. I make this call and I'm like, please tell me what to do. I will drive over there if I have to, or I'll do whatever you need me to do. I'll send you a check, a money order, whatever it is. So they gave me the address. It was really Emu Systems. I wrote out a check. I sent it. And this giant pig of a box arrived. And sure enough, it was an Emulator 3 that used to belong to Oingo Boingo. Someone from Oingo Boingo. You guess. But anyway, yep, it is something he would do. I think it is something he would do, but I've never been able to verify because I've never met him in real life. So for all I know, Emu just made that up, but it didn't matter. I wanted it. I got it. And I used to just sit in my room and just think, wow, all those records were recorded on this one. It was so cool. So I did something very similar when I sold it, just so you know. So yeah, funniest thing. But yeah, so I had that one for a while and it made its way not too much onto the Hope album. It actually did more work on the Diary album, believe it or not. It was the bass and acoustic guitars on the Diary album, which is really funny to me. And that's about as far as it got. They were really expensive. And by then I was quite enamored of my MPC that I could sample for a lot longer. And so by the time I got an MPC 3000, to be honest, the emulator was not really, cutting the mustard as far as I was concerned. But anyway, yeah, that's how I got the Emulator 3. It was Danny's, yes. It was Danny Elfman's Emulator 3. So I was told by Emu at the time. I can't verify, but I'm telling you that's what I was told. But yeah, it was a beast. It was loaded. It had a SCSI drive in it. It had all 14, I believe, 14 outputs, or maybe even more. It was crazy. I don't regret selling it because I did sort of the same thing. I listed it as a sort of like, if someone would know, they would know. And I think I only sold it for about $2,000. So I didn't really make money on it or anything like that. I wanted someone else to have it that really wanted it because I knew it was just going to sit there. And of course I don't regret it now because, sampling, I mean, I could do anything I want now. So it's not, yeah, that's the new one. Someone said, is that the new shit design? Yes, that's the Work 24. And I decided to wear it tonight. It looks better in black and white. Watch. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Black and white. But yeah, so it was fun to own that for a while. So yeah, earlier tonight at 7:00, I did a live screening, if you will, of the album over Bandcamp, and I quite enjoyed it. I want to thank Wendy for that because it was her idea. She actually sent me a link of another band that had done it, and I had thought of doing such a thing, but I had forgotten all about it. So thanks for the reminder because that was cool. I was able to get it started right away the same day that I loaded everything, and it is totally available at Bandcamp right now at this very moment. Here, let me give you the link. I should put the link in the chat. And tomorrow, of course, it's... So just so you know, yeah, it is available on Bandcamp. The digital is a lot less, obviously, than the record. And has two extra tracks. And I should tell you, because I don't want to forget. Hold on. Let me see if I can remember. Oh, gosh. I'm so terrible at this. But we are live. This is how you know we're live. Yep, this is live now. Ooh. So there is a particular mix that's not on Bandcamp and is not on all the other places that it's going to appear in that you can only get as a token. So I'm just going to tell you there's a token version of one of the remixes that can only be had through Tezos. Yes, I'm sorry. I know some of you don't like crypto, but I do, and it's something I want to support. So I would definitely look into that. Ooh, that's nice. I'm going to definitely check that out, Jason. That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely will. Thank you for that. The t-shirts are going to be available during the tour. If I make some extra ones, I'll let you know. J Money asks, please find a way. Did it make the vinyl? No, those are the last two tracks. You're going to see that on the Bandcamp version, they're in order. So 1 through 10 is everything that's on the vinyl. Thank you, JPK. Thank you. Yeah, and the last two tracks are digital only. Now, there was a lot of talk, and I mean a lot of talk about CDs on the Bandcamp page. And if a CD version of the thing gets done, which I'm not promising yet, but if it happens, then of course all 12 will be on there, and then maybe something else I'll add on there if we do it. So anyway, we'll see. But yeah, the shirts will be available, of course, during the tour. That's funny. That's funny, Don. Thank you for that. But what I wanted to say on Bandcamp, and I couldn't do it because I can't type fast enough, is, it's funny. I almost don't want to tell you this, but if I don't tell you, then I'm going to feel bad that I didn't tell you, because it's a conversation that Steve and I were having in the car as we were listening to the pre-master and we were making notes. And I'm gonna be honest about something here. So I am not a singles person. I don't really like releasing singles. It's not my thing. I never have. So whenever I try to put something together, like the 12-inch originally was supposed to be World Without Love on one side, 45 RPM, by the way. It was going to be World Without Love on one side and Answer Me on the other. And that's how it was going to be. Later, I just kept thinking to myself, I can't do that. I just can't. And I wanted it to have some sort of cohesive feel. So even though they're remixes, there is an interconnectedness to every single one. So if you pay attention, you're going to see or hear. Should I tell you this? Maybe I shouldn't tell you this. Well, here's the second song. Tell me if you want me to tell you or give you hints, but it may ruin things. Here you go. a moment shifting, of course. So lots of questions, and not enough answers. But so before I get into, I don't even remember the last thing I was talking about because I'm so nervous. Oh, I see. I remember now. So it's because I'm distracted. I always get distracted when I look at the chat and I try to think of what's next and all that. But I am going to take a moment to tell you a little bit about Chicago before we go back to the 12-inch. So the Chicago show was really good. I really enjoyed it. I had fun seeing everyone there, and I'm really happy for everyone that came out to watch T for Two and Anything Box perform. And I even got some gifts. So let me read you a letter that I got. In fact, here's the letter that I got, which is really, really, really nice. So this letter was given to me by the parents. Alfonso this is Alfonso's daughter. Her name is Esther Rose, and she wrote me this little note, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, "Hi, my name is Esther, and I am Alfonso's daughter, and I made you some gifts. One is an Anything Box squishy, and another is a fortune teller Anything Box themed. I hope you like it. Love, Esther, AB number 1, 2024. Man, that made me feel good. It really did. Thank you. And look, here's my plushie. Pretty cool. And then she made me this little Anything Box thingamajig. And yeah, there's a total one of these. You guys remember these? Where you look inside and you pick a number and then it tells you like if things are going to go good. What a sweetheart, indeed. So if you're listening, Esther Rose, thank you. I really love it. So it's going to stay right here in the studio all the time. It's going to be on that shelf with all the other cool stuff. It was a very nice, sweet gift. And last week I got this other gift, but I can't show it to you because I couldn't get it to come upstairs and not fall apart. So I have to figure out a way to mount it. But I got this really nice Lego thing that is in the shape of this. And when I redo the studio, it's going to live, I think it's going to live right here against this area. Because I've been wanting to take this window and hide it. So I think, anyway. It did tell my fortune. It says I'm going to be successful and I'm going to sell millions and millions of records. That's what it said. No lie. So... Oh, that was so cool. Yeah, V Counter says I still have an old video of my son singing "Answer Me" when he was 5 years old. You should send me that. I will post that. That is so rad. Thank you. Which, by the way, that is the best thing, the sweetest thing, the most amazing thing about all of you is that I get to spend time with you and hear your stories, and it makes me feel good. Obviously, it's like a wow thing. Like, I'm like, I can't believe people actually care that much about, what I'm doing or what's happening here. So thank you for that. Thank you. I'm serious. Like, thank you. Ouch. Just hurt myself. But anyway, so I don't get all sappy. So one question that I had gotten on the other chat was, do I get emotional or do things happen emotionally when I'm on stage? And have I ever lost it? And the answer to that question is, yeah, I have. I have lost it quite a few times without anyone really noticing that I've lost it. But I think the funniest one was this last show in Chicago because I was doing Hypocrites and I was like, I consider this to be divine intervention. So midway between the song, I was thinking about certain things in the past because the song's about, someone's funeral or something. So I was just like, I don't know. I think I was time traveling and I was going back and it was starting to get to me. And I was like, oh my God, I'm losing it. And so during the break part of the song, I'm supposed to play some percussion over by the keyboard. So I go over to the keyboard and I go to play. And for some reason, instead of hitting play, I hit play all clips. And I don't know if you know what that means, but if you're in Ableton and you hit play all clips, that launches every single song, every single sample that I have stored on a clip all at once. So literally about 120 files started at once. And of course, the CPU spiked to like 110 and everything just shut down for like a split second. And although that was embarrassing, and although that stopped the song dead, I was actually grateful because I had been losing it. It was just not going the way I wanted it to go. And I was like, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. So that was one thing that happened that was very interesting. So I call that divine intervention. The song stopped itself. Or maybe subconsciously my hand moved to the worst possible button that I could possibly hit. Which, by the way, I have to figure out how to unmap because that could never happen again. Can you imagine? So there's 36 songs in my set in what are called clips, and all 36 fired off at the same time. It must have sounded like such a weird thing. I don't even know what it sounded like, but anyway, it was funny. It was really, really funny. But yeah, so I do on occasion lose it. And the adrenaline, of course, does help. Yeah, Anne says the adrenaline helped. So I think, yeah, that's funny. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. That makes me happy. So anyway, we're listening to the 12-inch beginning to end, or as it were, however far we get. If you have questions, just put them in the chat and I'll answer them live. So you know, some of the trivia that I can tell you about the last two tracks is that I was dealing with 30-year-old material and I did not want to stem separate these. I had an aversion to doing that because I knew that if I got into each individual track that I was going to mess things up. So I wanted to work as if it was old tape and just cut and paste stuff together. So the first two were done that way, although in the end I did wind up doing some embellishments. In 2020, or during 2020, I should say, I had the Hope vocals, all the vocals from the album, transferred from ADAT to 24-bit files, and I had to work like a mofo using SMPTE of all things, which I hadn't used in years, to sync back to Cubase of all things, which I also hadn't used in years. But as it turns out, Cubase and SMPTE really like each other, and it worked. So I'm happy that I got to do it that way. The next one that you're going to hear is a really interesting one because, there's a reason for that, J Money. So the next one started its life out as an instrumental that wound up on the Dance CD5, and it also wound up on Mixology. Now, the problem with this instrumental was that I'd made it with the intention of adding the vocals at a later date. By the time we even thought to get around to it, we had gone beyond the MPC, and it just didn't happen. So it never happened. So the next one was never supposed to be an instrumental. But it took some doing to rearrange it to make it work with the vocals. So again, SMPTE to Cubase, and then I had to do some crazy stuff on Ableton so that I wouldn't use any sort of time stretching. So there's no time stretching on this one. This was done piecemeal, but I'm happy with the way this turned out. This is kind of how I had it in my head. But anyway, life is fun. Orange 24V. Yep, timing. Yep, there it is. Wow, that's crazy. Dang, there it is. I just highlighted it. That's so cool. It's nice to see that there. Oh, wow. So, a couple of things. So, this is kind of where I'm going with this. This idea that these two albums, Hope and Worth, are closer than you probably know. Than you probably know. So, Life is Fun and Answer Me were one of the first songs we wrote when we got back from Germany. So they were one of the first tracks we got into while we were trying to figure out whether the Worth album was going to come out or not. So it's funny because you can see that there are certain, shall we say, German influences going on in some of these remixes, especially the one you just heard, which of course was now coming into 1993. The end of 1992, by the way, is when this one was probably done, which means we had come back from Germany. We're trying to figure out if we're going to have a single out or not on Epic and fighting with them. But meanwhile, we have shows. And while we're doing these shows, new material is surfacing. So Life is Fun, Answer Me, and I believe Where is Love and Happiness were the first three that came from the Hope era in the transition. But what's interesting here is that in the next track, what you're going to hear is even weirder. Well, sort of. The next two are sort of strange. Or I shouldn't say the next two. It's not really the next two. It's the next. Well, you'll see. I'll tell you when they're in. But anyway, so Smile, which is the one that's going to come next, was directly in that era of that intermission phase, I call it, because it was either going to be a B-side for something that came off of Worth, if it happened. I thought it could be a B-side for Beat of Life, for example. And then later on, when we thought the album's not coming out, I thought it could make a better B-side for Answer Me or Where is Love and Happiness. And neither of those two panned out. So the next track basically stayed in limbo for a long time in its, quote, demo form, because I intended to go back and do something. And it never happened. There's a version that appeared on Mixology, but it's not as good as what's on this 12-inch. It's not as good as this one because I was able to do a lot with the vocals and fix things that always annoyed me. So the technology for mastering things and getting to certain frequencies and isolating them is amazing at the point that we're at technology-wise. So it's really cool. So I'm very happy. So, sorry, I didn't have the chat on. So yeah, so that's the big deal. And as far as Life is Fun is concerned, or the remix that you just heard, I always intended it to have vocals, but we just never got around to it. And by the time it could happen, we had already passed that phase. So that remained an instrumental and always used to bother me because I would hear it and I would hear the vocals in my head, how it should sound, and we never did it. So it was one of the last things that held up the 12-inch because I finally said to myself, if you don't even try doing it, you're never going to know what it sounds like. So yeah, this SMPTE thing sucks. Syncing up old tapes to, software to try to get those vocals right, it sucks. Because I tried stem separation on this, and I was not happy with the result, especially when I could listen to the ADAT versions of the vocals and hear how good they were. So I suffered through it. It took about a week just to be able to transfer the vocals so that they would be usable. And then I had to tempo map in Cubase, which I haven't used in years, the Life is Fun instrumental. But I was able to marry the two together, and it really does work. So I'm over the moon that I got that done. So yes, I am proud of that part of it. And yes, it is very craft work oriented because that's what I was going for at that time. We had just gotten back from Berlin. So obviously Berlin was in my head. So anyway. So yes, there are still shows coming up, and I know one thing that's been coming up a lot in my DMs, so I'm going to clear something up. The venue that we were going to play in Brooklyn is not canceled, but it's going to be moved to a different venue, and I believe that that will be announced on Monday or Tuesday. So as of right now, I can't guarantee that it's not canceled, but I'm almost 100% sure that we're still on schedule. I will find out by Monday or Tuesday what venue it is being moved to, because the city of New York decided to close down the venue in Brooklyn, and that's a drag. That's a real drag. Yeah, it's a crazy thing what happened to them. I'm going to try to find the article and post it on the band page, but I was worried that everybody would think the show is canceled. It's not technically canceled. As of right now, we're still working with the venue to make sure that everything still happens the way it's supposed to happen. Another Winter on Twitch is asking, are you coming back to El Centro? I would love to. If it's the right show, the right venue, the right place, if we get to do it right, I want to do it for sure. Absolutely. I love it. So anyway, let's continue. So this particular track that I'm going to play comes from a DAT. It's a very simple DAT, 1992, but I called it 922044, whatever. Basically from 92 to 2000. Why can't I speak? 2024, damn it. But yeah, so it comes from a long time ago, and I always wanted to fix this. And so this one, the only thing I did, the only technology that I used basically to fix this particular track was I wanted to do a stem separation where only the vocals were removed, and that I would have all the instruments as their own thing. I wasn't going to separate them because that would be too tempting for me to just go crazy. And I didn't want a 2024 version. What I wanted was a really, really good 1992 version. I digress. But I digress. I digress. Your fault, Mike. But I digress. Yeah, I took the extra one for that. But at any rate, yeah, so I wanted to do, I guess, the best version that it could be, but without really changing things, because I actually really like the original. But what used to bum me out was that the reverb wasn't mono. Some of the samples were either too loud or they came out of nowhere. So I wanted to position them in the stereo field a little bit better and things like that. And so I have played versions of Smile before, but they don't sound like this. This is way different. Way, way different. So anyway, here we go. Smile.9224. Smile. So yeah, all the weird psychedelic bits were starting to enter. Um, and this was the beginning, the definite beginning of the Hope era. Um, yeah, this was probably yeah. Marcelo has it right on YouTube. This was probably the birth of Orange Works was this era. But it's interesting because, like I said, this song when it was written was originally intended to be a B-side to something like Beat of Life. So think about that as you listen, because Beat of Life, of course, shows up on the Worth side. So they're very interchangeable, and that's something that Steve mentioned when we were listening in the car. He was telling me that he was like, it's really strange because you can hear bits of Life is Fun in the Beat of Life remix. And he thought that that was something that I did now. And it's like, I had to explain that, no, this goes back a long time. It's just that now, because of the way that I've done it, I've brought these elements out so you can hear that there were definite overlaps. So they kind of do belong together in this sense. But anyway, but it is what it is. Ah, I didn't say it. I declare. But but yeah, so it's an interesting thing to have worked on. Oh, thank you for all the yeah. That article that Wendy just posted on the chat is probably the one that was that's the one that was sent to me. That's the one. Now there's a couple, but that is here. I'll post the link on mine so it goes to everyone. That's the article that shows what happened. But basically, during someone's set, the building commission in New York City just came in and shut the entire place down. But, it's a bit strange, if you ask me. But, we live in strange times, so who knows what's going on over there. But from what I know, the venue has moved all the shows to a different venue that's near there. And looks like everything is still on. So, like I said, I will have more news this week as it comes, but, I'm actually looking forward to playing in Brooklyn. So, whatever happens, happens. So, right? Another conspiracy. It's his fault. But yeah, you can definitely, But anyway, thank you. Thank you for being here with me so far. And if you're just joining us at the top of the hour, this particular stream started off on Bandcamp as part of a listening party for the new 12-inch, which I'm happy that it's out and done. Well, you know what's funny? It's not really done because once it gets here, I have to pack the darn things and sign them all too. So that's going to be fun. Oh, let me fix this microphone. It wants to feed back, do you? There we go. Sorry about that. It's sensitive. That's funny, Don. But, yeah, so anyway, tough week. I had everything done. One funny tidbit was that it got rejected like 3 times because there's no text. There's literally no text on the cover or the back cover. And when you open it, it's red vinyl and the labels are also paintings. There's no text on them. So they came back like there's an error in your artwork. How do we figure out what side A and B is? So I had to send them back the same templates with little arrows that say this is A and this is B, even though really it doesn't matter. Whichever one they decided to put it on, it wouldn't have mattered. So it was a little bit controversial because normally when albums are done that way, they're considered bootlegs. Usually bootleggers do such things. So it was a lot of having to sign off on it and all that funny stuff. But it is on its way now. And it looks like it might arrive early, which is good. So it could arrive before May, which is good. It could be end of April now, or mid-April, they're saying. Yes. Yes, I did. I did the art on it. In fact, I have a mock-up of it. behind me. This is the mock-up, but it actually looks just like this. Here, I'll show it on screen. Normal? Yeah, there we go. So that's the cover. And when you flip it, that's the other side, the other cover. Although this has been changed and it's not, this one is not exactly like the real one, but basically, yeah, there's no text. I was able to put text here on the spine. So there's text on the spine. So if you need to know what's on it, it's on the spine itself. But other than that, no text whatsoever, which was interesting. And and another, this one actually made me mad. So I'm going to tell you something that made me mad. So someone DM'd me and said, good AI art. Good AI art. Oh man, talk about like, I almost wanted to like be mean. It's not AI art. This one is a 30 by 40 canvas that's quite damaged. That got damaged after a flood and two moves. And it took a lot to fix it. But this is from a real canvas. And this was a statue that used to be off the 22 when I used to go get off the exit to my apartment. I used to always see the statue on the side of the road. And as you can see, there's barbed wire. I used to catch the back of her head as the car would come up to this exit. And one day I thought, I'm going to sneak in there and take pictures of that statue. And I'm glad I did it, because right after I got that photo, maybe 6 months later, it got uprooted and everything was gone. All the statues were gone. So I'm glad that I got some of it. And I have footage of this statue, which is actually cool. It'll show up on something or other. But I've been dying to use it for something. So it finally sees its light of day. I know. I'm like, AI? Oh my God. AI? Anyway. It's the, right? Auction number 1. No, it's just a mock-up. So it's a pretty bad shape mock-up too. But yeah, so anyway, they're on their way. So everything should be on the up and up. So this next one, there was, I don't know, I kept hearing this in my head. And so this is a completely new thing. So this has actually something to do with the new album, but I took some sounds and I added them to the vocals on this side, and I thought, I just have to make this an intermission. I needed an intermission. I wanted the record to, the side A, whatever it is, the hope side, to have something that ends and trails off and becomes part of something else when you flip it over. So that's something I really wanted to do. So anyway, this next one is Life is Fun, the intermission phase. And this one is shorter than, I believe, I think this is the short one. Yeah, this is the B one. So this is the short one. So this is the one that's on the 12-inch. Anyway, really short. Yeah. See you on the chat. Keep asking questions. Life is Fun, intermission. So did you catch the transition between those two things? You can hear a little bit of World Without Love towards the end of Life is Fun. And anyway. Oh my gosh. So Brent, are you saying that you had a multi-track? I had a multi-track. I loved that thing. Oh man, I wish I still had mine because that was a lot of fun. That was one of the coolest analog synths ever, and it does not get the accolades it deserves. It was a monster, like it was a literal monster. You could do really cool stuff on it. Marcelo, please start a GoFundMe for the 12-inch so it can be made into a physical CD. I'm not going to promise a CD yet, because it's not that I don't want to. Actually, I really do want to, and I probably could. I'm going to think it over because it would have to. It requires a little bit of finesse if I'm going to do that. Let's just say that I'm not adverse to the idea. I'm not adverse to the idea at all. In fact, I would have gone for a CD before I went for a record. I know that's going to make some people angry. Sorry. Pizza's coming back. Oh my god. Had pizza tonight. But good one too. But no joke. I would have loved to have done it on CD. Because I love CDs. But it's a possibility. It is a possibility. I have to think about it. Because let me think about it. No promise. There's no promises on that. But I got a lot of that on the other chat too. So maybe over the weekend we'll do a poll. We'll do a poll on Facebook. We'll do a poll on Instagram, and we'll do a poll on X, and we'll see how that works out. And if it gets enough votes, maybe we'll do it. We'll do it in a democratic way. We will vote for it. Cassette? No, we can't do it on cassettes. No. Yeah, cassettes are out of the question, and I'll tell you why. The hardest part about doing cassettes is I looked into it. For the amount of money that they charge for the duplication and just getting the artwork done the way I would want to, it would cost almost as much as the vinyl. It's just not worth it. CDs will fare much better on the road. So on that front, I can see that happening. But yeah, no, I don't think so. But let me explain something, because I think this is a good time to bring this up, because I didn't get to bring this up in the other chat. I've been dying to get this vinyl thing done, particularly this particular EP, and I'm going to tell you why. Remember, I have 2 EPs and possibly 2 albums sitting on my hard drive that I'm supposed to be mastering. And the most important release of what I think is like a really important Anything Box release, besides this one, because I do think this one's important, but I'm telling you right now that the record that you guys don't know that's coming is the one that really deserves a lot of attention right now, and I've been not giving it attention. So I need to focus on it because it's going to be released the way Hope was released. The new album's going to be released as a book. So I have to really work on that. And so one of the things I'm trying to do is that one of the reasons I feel so lucky that this is done is while I'm waiting for the records to come, I'm going to haul ass to get the album done so that I'm not sitting on a record that much longer. Because the longer I sit on this one, the less that I'll want to release it. And I'm going to be honest, this is going to be so strange, but I'm shooting for 2 books this year. And the second one is really weird, all right? I'm not even saying that most people will like the second one, but I love it. And so I want to finish it so that I can move on to other things. I feel like I'm stuck in this weird limbo of like dealing with 30-year-old material, and I'm wanting to work on new things and to advance. Like, so these 2 records that I have sitting around on my hard drive, I am really dying to get them done. One is very related to this record. So, like, they go together. You could almost say they go together. In fact, the painting that was back there was originally in the book that now it's not going to appear in that book, or maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe it can appear in that book now. But at any rate, I said at any rate. I caught that. So yeah. So for example, I do need to focus on that because, it is a difficult thing. So of course, if I take my time to formulate a CD version of this 12-inch, send that off to mastering and all that stuff again, it's another 2 weeks that takes me out of it. So I'm going to wait. We'll do a poll, and if a CD is worth doing, I'll do it. But priority number one is to finish the album, because the album will be a book and it will be a CD. So therefore, it really needs to get done, So, but anyway, I missed the whole synth thing. That's funny. But yeah, I used to take my multi-track, I think in one of the early live shows, and it did not perform well live, but I loved it. Yeah. But yeah, no, on the new one, it can't fit on vinyl. It won't fit, unfortunately. So it's going to be a book and download with a CD. The way I think of it, and I'm being honest when I tell you this, I'm being dead honest. I really don't see that many 12 inches in the future, or vinyl for that matter. I don't see it. I'm going to focus more on books because I think books are going to be more fun to hold in your hand while you're listening to the music. And the music, you can put it on your phone, you can put it on a CD, you can put it in your whatever you want, and you'll always have it. So, that said, I still like CDs for some reason because I love their compact nature. But as I said, vinyl, I don't know, But anyway, let's declare. Funny. I love you guys though. 9:21. We better haul here. So this one is called the Berlin Wall Mix because, of course, just like I said with Smile, this was one of the first remixes that I did completely on my own when I got back from Berlin in the new studio. So the studio was set up in my apartment. This is one of the first mixes I did after coming back from Berlin. The idea was that vocals were going to be married to this track. And again, never happened because Worth never came out. So everything got shelved. And by the time Mixology came out, this wound up being an instrumental, but it wasn't supposed to be. So I was so happy to be able to marry the vocals to this mix finally after almost 30 something years, man. So anyway, Beat of Life, the Berlin Wall thingamajig. And where's my moon? There it is. Yeah, we'll have the moon for this.
Do you dance?
You people are so funny. So yeah, I had the first Mesh album on cassette stuck in my car for like a freaking year or something, and I couldn't get it out. It wouldn't eject it. So that was the only thing I could listen to over and over again. And before that, I had a little Chevy, which I hated that car. God, I loathed that car. And I had an Oingo Boingo album stuck in that one. It's the one that has nothing to fear but fear itself. That's that one. Or no, nothing bad ever happens to me. That the one that has those songs on it, which are now like burned out of my skull because for 3 years, 3 flipping years, I could not eject it from my car. So it was either bad AM radio, which really sucked, and they never played anything good when I was living in the East Coast, or I was only listening to Oingo Boingo every time I was in my car on those cassettes. So cassettes have I don't have that kind of faith in them. The nostalgia factor doesn't work on me with those. Yeah, 3 years. So yeah, cassettes, nah. So yeah, So I mean, vinyl can happen. If I find that the release if it makes it worth it. So for example, if I write a new record and I write it with vinyl in mind, that's already not going in the right direction as far as I'm concerned, because then that would tell me that, well, I would have added another song if it wasn't a record, and I don't want to do that. So that's one thing. But on the other hand, what vinyl has done for me, what I have understood, is that 22 minutes aside does set a precedent for how long an album should be. And I think that on that level, I kind of like it. So even though I would release something, let's say digitally or on a CD or as part of a book, as 24-bit book, I think I would probably stick to under an hour. And I think that I like that a lot. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't necessarily do vinyl, but I don't see it that much in the future. But I could be wrong. So I always reserve the right to be wrong about that. So, I'm just saying. But the other thing is, of course, that being a visual person, of course, I like the idea of a bigger cover and a bigger back cover. But that's about as much as I can dream, because I looked into it. If I wanted to do even a 4-page book to stick inside that 12-inch, you would be paying like $60 for a record just because I wanted 4 pages in there. And to me, that doesn't seem worth it when I can do a 44-page hardcover book with a 24-bit download for less than a 12-inch record. So to me, that part doesn't appeal as much. But music tokens are fun. Yep, JPK. I did it. I made one. There is one for today. So, and don't even get me started on 8-track. I don't even know who thought that was a good idea. But, oh, that's right. Steve did find a Jubilation CD single at Amoeba, and he got to it before I could. I would have probably bought it just to buy it. But speaking of, so when off subject, but anyway, when I came back from Chicago, I brought some of the posters with me, and I'm gonna probably give some away this week. So I'll tell you how you can get one if you want to get some of those. They're really cool, actually. They're sitting behind me. But I'll show you next week on next week's stream. I'm just gonna give some of them away. I have to figure out how to package them. I may even stick them in one of the 12-inch boxes or something. Maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyway, I digress. I think this weekend I'm going to make homemade eggnog and spike it with brandy, because I really like that combo. I think that's what I'm going to do this weekend. I don't know why, but I'm in the mood. Anyway, 9:33. So this one basically came straight off of that. And what I've never liked about this demo was that the vocal was way too loud and the drums were way too low in the mix. So the only technology that I wanted to employ here was to fix this one aspect that always bugged me. So I did stem separation to just take the vocals and keep the instrumental as is. I didn't want to separate all the stems for the instruments because I thought that that would be too tempting for me to change things too much. I wanted to stay true to the demo as much as possible. So what I really did here is nothing more than compress the vocals a little bit, get them to fit a little nicer in the mix, and push the drums outward, which is what I wanted. So this is Worth, straight from Dat, but not quite as it's been heard before. And Moonshot it is. Oh gosh. Thank you for that. Yeah, it does. It does. It sounds really good on headphones. So I'm going to tell you a little idiosyncrasy about vinyl that most people do not know. Um, from an engineering technical point of view. So you have a record and you put the needle down, and the very first song sounds the best on that piece of vinyl. I don't know if you guys know this, but this is an actual fact. You can look it up, you can Google it, you can do whatever. No, actually, don't Google anything. I hate Google right now. But yeah, you can take a vinyl record. The very first song on a record has the best dynamic range of the entire record. I bet you didn't know that. And as the groove, as you go down towards the whole of the record, towards the middle, the very last song on every side of a record is usually the one with the worst dynamic range. And it's usually the one that sounds the worst. And bands knew this, record companies knew this. No, we're not doing song requests tonight. Sorry. We're not tonight. In case you missed it, tonight I'm debuting a 12-inch, and we're going through all the songs that are on it. And we've got 3 to go, and then it's over. But maybe next week for sure. Next week can do some requests. So understand what I'm saying. You have a record. As the needle goes closer to the center of the record, there is a degradation of dynamic range. This is actually known. It's a known fact. And bands and labels used to put weird oddball songs at the very end of those grooves because they knew that those could sound pretty bad, so they wanted to have throwaways. So if you ever wanted to know, this is why a lot of records that you would buy in the 1980s or 90s when vinyl first started to be really phased out, that's why usually the last song on each side was either the weirdest thing that the band could ever think of doing, or why they were really weird and short. Meaning that the album itself was short. So what they would do is they would put maybe 3 tracks on side A and not put the 4th or 5th track on purpose so that it wouldn't go into that area. So I thought about this a lot when it came to the record. So if you notice, track 5, Life is Fun, goes into this weird, strange noise thing. And on purpose, I added more because since it's going to be degraded anyway, I wanted it to degrade all the way to the end. And I thought that would be funny. And the same thing happens on the Worth side. So this next one was this thing called Another Split Point. And originally, this was a hope thing. It was supposed to be a transition between, I don't remember which song, but I'm trying to remember, but I'm almost certain that it was supposed to be a transition between Life is Fun and something else. And I'm trying to remember if it was. I think it was Rise. Originally, it was supposed to be like a transition between Rise and something else, whether it was Where is Love and Happiness or something. And then, of course, we changed it and took it off the record. But this weird instrumental was found during the Quarren streams. It came up, and I played it on one of the Quarren streams, and everyone said, oh, release it, we like it. So I thought it would be strange. But it actually fits really well on the Worth side as the closer, especially towards the end of that groove. And on purpose, it is very degraded at the end. And not entirely by design. It actually worked that way. That this is kind of like the way it was mixed. So I thought it would be funny to end the Worth side with this particular track. So again, the 2 albums have these overlapping things going on, in case you wanted to know all that nerdy stuff. So anyway, so I'm going to play Another Split Point, and when it's over, then the last 2 will just play straight out because it's almost that time. But I'm going to go back to the Moon chat, and you can chat with me on there. And this is Another Split Point, basically the end of the Worth side of the 12-inch. Yeah. So so as your record ages, so as your record, like if you play the crap out of this record and it starts to get to that scratch phase where, you know, everything sounds scratchy, this particular track will sound even worse every time. And I think it's going to keep adding to its charm because it's going to just get worse and worse and worse, which is really something. It's something I'm really into at the moment, but I just thought it would be funny to have it on the record. It wasn't going to be. In fact, I'll be honest with you, until last week, when Steve visited, it was still not quite on the record. It was one of those things where it just wasn't going to be on there, but there was a disparity between the two sides, and I thought if I don't put it on there, then I'm going to be missing something. I'm not overshooting. I'm overshooting on one side and not enough stuff on the other. So it wasn't quite enough space to put in like another of the songs on there. I needed something that was literally under like 2.5 minutes. And this comes in, I think, at 2 minutes and 32 seconds. So I got totally lucky with this because the other two songs that would have been on there would not have fit and could not be on that record. So this is, you know, I understand, Steve. I understand. Um, so, so we're gonna play the last two, and then I'm out of here. So this one, these two, you can only get on Bandcamp, and of course, once it hits Spotify and all that, you will see these on Spotify. So, you know, yeah, this whole thing is going on Spotify too. I don't know that it'll show up on Spotify for a week, but it's going to go to iTunes and all that too. This particular release, but so these next two are very interesting, but this next one to me is one of the most interesting ones. So when this was recorded, we recorded this straight to my AKG 414. So the 414 was picking up the vocals and the guitar was played by Danya, by the way. And Keith Milo, cause and effect Keith, was playing keyboard. So he was going direct to the board. So his is the best sounding part because it was going direct to the DAT. Whereas Danya and I had to sort of balance each other out. I think we did like 4 takes to try to see like where the mic would pick up both her guitar and our voices at the same time. So this is not multi-tracked. So this proved to be a problem because when you went to go master it, when you lowered the vocals, you lowered the guitar. When you tried to raise the guitar, you raised the vocal and it overshadowed the strings. So this was a problem. So the idea was that sooner or later we would record this, but we didn't, because obviously this happens to us all the time, right? So I decided that what I would do was, again, employ stem separations. Now, the thing that was interesting about stem separating this track is that I was unable to take the guitar out. For some reason, there was too much artifacts, and we would get artifacts from the vocals in the guitar. So that was impossible. So what I did do was I was able to extract Danya and I as one vocal. So it's one mono vocal, basically the two of us. But that's good because then what was left was the instrumental, which I was able to master to bring out her guitar. So you're going to hear her guitar much better, including any flubs that she made. But I actually think there's a lot of charm in it. And there was a bass part that I had wanted to have in there forever, which was a bass synth. And I was able to do that by playing it live. So I played that live while listening so that I could fit it in there the way that I wanted. So it's sort of like going back in time and fixing it, but without really ruining it. So I feel like this one, I think that this one got one of the coolest treatments, in my opinion. And I'm talking about the wrong one, of course, because this next one it wasn't the next one. Oops, I fucked up. Oh my, it's actually the last two. I skipped the song. Did you realize I skipped the song? We skipped track 9, but that's okay. You'll have to go to Bandcamp and figure it out which one I skipped. But anyway, here we go. World Without Love, the Folktronic version, 2024. And that's where we're at. So anyway, here we go.
If I heard you say the world is everything, I would be dreaming of living quietly. And if I heard you say the world's too cold to touch, I could change your minds with just a kiss. What are we gonna do? This way and you dance with me. Hopefully I can change the loneliness. 'Cause in your eyes I see the love to hide, hiding so deeply, always within you. What are we gonna do?
That long trail off. Yeah, it took a lot of work, man. I'm not gonna lie. This was harder to record than some of the stuff that we've recorded in the past because it involved a lot of messing with things that are 30 years old and you're trying to fix things, but you don't want to ruin things. And it takes a lot of restraint because you just want to destroy it. You just want to like, I never liked this one thing. Let me fix this one thing. Oh, maybe I can sing that over again. Like there's a lot of things where you just want to like mess with it. So I'm happy that, it didn't work out that way, that I didn't go that far. But anyway, it's about that time. So what I'm going to do is just play the last one, which is Please Find a Way, which again, the only treatment it got was I separated the vocals, mixed them back in to get a little bit more punch out of the drums and the instruments, because I felt like the vocals were way too loud in the demo. And that's all I did. And then just fix it, meaning balance it out a little bit more. And this is, it is what it is. And it's the one that I'm going to end it all off with. I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being at the release party on Bandcamp. That was a lot of fun, and we're going to do that again, but in style when when the album's done. We're going to have fun with that. I promise you. There's something that I want to tell you so badly, but I can't. But when the album comes around, it's going to get serious. We're going to have some fun, man. There's some interesting things that I did edit-wise that is going to make things fun. But anyway, thank you. I will see you all online, but not tonight. But you probably will see me tomorrow. Tomorrow begins my mastering session for the album, which I have, like I said, I've been putting it off. But now that I have a method that I like, it's all go. So anyway, I'm going to say goodnight. And here it is. Please find a way. .9224. And with that, I say goodnight. And with that, good night.
I'm part of it. Can't you see it?